Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So it looks like we're starting on time. It's a very good sign. So today, first, maybe we'll do a quick introduction of this event. So this is Marketer Without Limits. So today's, we're going to talk about the space of Metaverse. How do brands engage with audience in this new space? So my name is Ben Chen from AnyMind. I'm coming as a program partner to represent IAB, or Internet Advertising Bureau Hong Kong, on this talk. So today we're lucky to have three very awesome speakers from somewhat different spaces. So we'll get a very good view overall in this space. So first, we have Roger Lee, sitting in the middle. So he's actually my ex-colleague back in Yahoo. He is the Senior Director of Yahoo Creative Studio. And he'll be talking about the immersive experience of the meta space in VR and AR. Okay. And second, we have Kevin Lee, the CEO and founder of Red Spot Creative. So he'll be sharing some cases on virtual KOL. So I'm definitely looking for that. I'm very interested in the KOL business myself. Last but not least, we have Steve Ip, the CEO of Conductive Research. So he will have some very interesting sharing on the marketing aspects of NFT. So let's get started. Yes, should we roll a video, IAB? So quickly, we can take a look at the video of IAB. Thank you. So as you can see, IAB is in here to grow the digital advertising landscape in Hong Kong. So if anyone is interested in joining or like to learn more about this, please come by afterwards. I will be very happy to talk to you. So first, let's start with Roger. So Roger from Yahoo.
Hi, Ben.
Hello. Hey, Roger. It's very good to see you. We'll have an actual Yahoo reunion after this, so we can talk more after this today. Okay, so in the Metaverse, there are quite a lot of immersive experience that I've seen from Yahoo. Will you be sharing some maybe slides today as well? You got to, okay, all right, great. So first, maybe let's tell everyone what is the Metaverse and how do we use Metaverse for marketing?
Sure. Actually, there are a lot of experts here. I don't think I'm the best representative to speak about what is Metaverse, but definitely let me try my best to just give the audience what Metaverse is about. I think in my personal opinion, there are three parts. So the first part is the environment. Metaverse definitely gives a radically different environment to and at the end of the day is the audience. So it is a share, it's a persistent, it's a 3D virtual environment that everyone can participate in. And the other part is the identity, for sure. So in our current world without Metaverse, all of you have an identity in some certain account in social network, but think about that. This account will go away if that company go away. But in the Metaverse world, it is persistent, so it is interoperable. So you have an identity that is permanent for yourself. And eventually, this identity is really owned by yourself. It's not owned by any kind of company. So that's really important. And the third part to me is the entire new economy that Metaverse can bring us. Definitely, thanks blockchain technology, it brought us a technology that can turn everything virtual, kind of become real, that is a part of your possession. So now you can actually own everything in Metaverse, like art, like even a car, that virtually, it wouldn't go away with any company goes down. So that, in my opinion, is the Metaverse.
Got it. Thank you. So with that, how do we connect brands to the audience that they want to meet in the Metaverse?
So basically, in the marketing world, so as a marketer, we always look for how to connect with the ultimate audience that you, or potentially your customer. So if you think about the evolution of the web, so we have started Web 1 like more than 20 years ago. It is basically a static web, static information. Everyone are just an observer, receiving information. And then moving into Web 2, it is about like 15 years ago or so, then start to have a lot more interaction. So people can actually participate in the web world, not just receiving information, but they have a lot of feedback, comments, posts. This is generally what we are today. But when we think of Web 3, which people always refer to Metaverse as Web 3, then it becomes much more real life. And this is where the immersive experience come into play. Of course, there are a lot more than immersive experience like blockchain, all this, but immersive experience is part of the core of the Metaverse. And this is where what brand can connect to the audience. So in terms of how, so there are different many ways, but before that, I want to share a few figures and statistics that Yahoo have done in the year. So let me share some slide here, if you can see the slide. All right, so early in the year, we have done an immersive survey around the globe, globally. And we just asked around the people, are you interested or are you using immersive experience in any way? And what we found, 58% of the global audience that they are currently using or interested to use immersive experience. So this number is pretty high, right? Considering it is a majority of the audience that we have surveyed. But when we look at Hong Kong itself, it is even going up to 80%. So obviously, a lot of people in Hong Kong are very curious to explore new technology and are very keen to use immersive experience. And then when it comes to consumer, when they are going online to buy things, so a lot of people are actually expecting brands to have some kind of immersive experience that they can be provided. So 60% of them, when they shop, they really want AR experience to get to know more about their product from their brands. And 40% of the consumer, they actually wish the brands can offer more AR experience. So from that survey, that is clearly telling us it is really the time to look at how to connect our audience or potentially the brand consumer with through the immersive experience with the brand. And then more figures to share here, because when a lot of marketers here, potentially, when we look at the ROI, so in the full funnel, we really found that according to the survey, immersive experience is very, very effective. From awareness to recall, consideration, or even purchase, immersive experience is really helpful to boost up the satisfaction and performance for the campaign. So that's why immersive experience is definitely one way to go, or future way to go from a marketer perspective. And then here now, I want to share a little bit more of how, so what kind of use cases that from a brand perspective can utilize in the immersive experience or Metaverse world. So first of all, Metaverse is all about virtual. So we will see a lot more virtual world. And obviously a lot of audience and social activity would be happening in that virtual world. So I think it is not, it is very common to see a lot of, like, example, concert or even birthday party that is happening in the virtual world or Metaverse world. So as a brand, then this is where you can connect to your customer. So how you can build more relevant relationship through this kind of social activity inside the metaverse through an immersive experience is one way to go. And the other one is what we believe interruptive or disruptive advertising will be becoming more harder since in the metaverse world it's not pages. So today we are all picking up our phone or desktop to watch screen and pages, but definitely going forward is a world. So how to become more contextually relevant. So having more natively advertising placement is the opportunity. And then when it comes to NFT, probably Steve will talk about more about that. So brand definitely can take this chance to convert their product virtually to become a real value virtual product. So with NFT technology, obviously everyone can own something with real value. So I think a few examples we saw recently is that how brand can actually give outfits to the gamer avatars. So it's an avatar's product that you can actually wear something in your avatar, a branded one. Then this avatar can work across like multiple platforms, up to like 300 plus platforms. So consistently experience and identity. So I think that is where also brand can take this opportunity to convert their real product virtually to offer value to their customer.
Thank you so much for the sharing. I can definitely see the creative side of this and understand why it comes from the creative studio of Yahoo on this. Yeah, I myself, it's a gamer as well. I'm sure probably a lot of people on the seat here are also gamers. I can definitely envision one day that I'm playing some kind of game and I can somehow carry the assets in the game into the real life, whether it's worth anything. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Someone was playing Grand Theft Auto and wished that they could do the same thing in real world. I think that's a good wish. It's a good example of what people wish for. I hope one day it will come true. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing.
So you're welcome.
All right. So next, let's get to Kevin Lee. So Kevin, we understand that you do a lot of virtual KOLs. I think everybody here have worked with KOLs before, have seen or have liked some kind of KOLs in the past. How would you describe how virtual KOL work perhaps differently than the traditional KOLs? And yeah, and tell us more about your story.
Okay, sure. I'm Kevin, and I'm the founder and CEO of Response Creative. And as a matter of fact, our team have been working in the media technology industry for more than 18 years now. Now we have been developing a lot of proprietary technologies for creative industry, especially like AR, VR, which is much more popular right now. Well, actually, we started working on AR, VR projects and technologies since like 2007. So it's been a long time. And starting from like 4 years ago, we have developed our own virtual idol solution, which is actually a real-time animation solution. And right now, we have offices in Guangzhou, in mainland China, in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. And we have partnerships in Southeast Asia, in North America, and also in Europe. And actually, as a solution provider right now in mainland China and Hong Kong market, we should be the #1 market leader right now. So more than 50% of those virtual idols, especially those you can see on Bilibili, let's say on TikTok or on a lot of like streaming platforms like Hugao, Huya, so this sort of like streaming platforms. There are a lot of this kind of like virtual idols, as you can see, especially those that are doing live streamings. More than half of them are using our solution. So we have been working on this area specifically for the past few years. And right now in our archive, we have more than 3,000 virtual KOL that we have been serving or partnering with. And I think that's a very good foundation, especially this year, everyone is talking about Metaverse. And so as a matter of fact, we have been doing all these virtual contents, virtual characters, doing live streamings for years. So for us, it's very easy, actually, to go into this so-called Metaverse kind of business. So right now, we already announced that we are going to launch our virtual idol Metaverse. We announced it summer, and we got our angel fundraise already, and we'll have our first beta version to be launched in January. So what's the difference between like real person KOL and virtual KOL is that, first of all, it's virtual. Yeah, everything is digital. And, but at the same time, our solution, what we're trying to do is that we're trying to extract the talents from real persons and input it into the virtual character. Let's say for a real person KOL, you need to be handsome or pretty, and then it was very difficult to have someone who is pretty and handsome. You know how to sing, you know how to dance, and everything. But right now, with this kind of virtual idol, first of all the appearances are designed by our animators or our designers. So it could be as pretty as you want or as ugly as you want, whatever you want. And at the same time, we have like real actors, real singers, real dancers behind, so they can dance and sing for this character. But when we are talking about dance and sing, maybe we have different talents behind. Because as I said, it's very difficult for one single person to have a lot of like multi-talents. But right now, I'm just looking for like professional experts, like professional dancer, professional singers. They may not look as good as like you can be a star. But right now, we can extract these talents and put it into the virtual characters, so they can sing and dance and act and everything. And so this is what we have been doing for the past few years. So now we are trying to turn this model not just as a solution provider. Right now, we are putting everything into our virtual idol metaverse. So every single end users, they can be their own virtual idol. And they can have like a small team. Let's say me and my classmates, I can dance, she can sing. And so we can combine these talents into our own single virtual idol. And then they can have their performances in our virtual idol metaverse. So they can attract a lot of users and stuff. And everything will be free. Yeah, it's for free of charge. So you can just come in and you can design your own model, you can design your characters, and then you can do your performances. And as a matter of fact, we have signed a few like big reality show IPs, which we'll be putting into our metaverse. So there will be like those like star making reality show in Hong Kong, you know, in UTV and stuff. And so we are trying to bring all this reality show into the metaverse. So not just that you can have your own performances with your own virtual idol. Actually, you can join our competition and you can be a real star. So this is our plan on the whole virtual idol thing. Yeah.
Very interesting. I remember I used to run some kind of traditional KOL campaigns in the past that it was quite difficult to look for the right KOLs for the campaigns that our brands or advertisers want, because people are people. If we receive a media brief saying we want this type of characters or characteristics of KOLs, we actually have to go find these real people in real life, in real time. But I can imagine that if we have unlimited possibility with virtual KOLs in the metaverse, we can literally engage it in any way we want. We can very specifically craft the type of KOLs that would appeal to the right audience. So we can actually create our own followers or audience base, that is. So yeah, this is absolutely just groundbreaking. Thank you. Would you like to share?
Oh yeah. Actually, I have a short video that we can play, and so you can visualize what's going on. So right now, not just that we are doing online stuff, at the same time, we are doing a lot of like offline events and having these virtual idols doing performances. So we can have a look with a short video here. So you can see this is a stage performance where we have virtual idol dancing on the screen. But at the same time, on the bottom, the video at the bottom is actually the making of. So what you can see is that on the screen, you can see a virtual character dancing and singing. And as a matter of fact, we do have a real dancer and a real singer singing right there at the back. So you can see we have a dancer there doing all this real-time motion capture, real-time animation. So all her movements real-time reflect to the character. At the same time, we have a real singer on the left-hand side. So she's singing right there. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to extract all these like talents from individuals and then put them into one single character. So all these virtual idols, they can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can do everything they want. Yeah. Especially like normal people, you can have a small team of talents, and then you can co-own and also cooperate to run and operate this single virtual idol. So For this one, what we're trying to do is some kind of like stage performances where we have real dancer dancing on a stage with the virtual character at the same time. Yep. So this could be another like art form we are looking into. Yeah, especially like I love musical. I love watching a lot of musicals. But at the same time, when you're talking about like animated musicals, everyone is thinking about Disney only. Why? Because it's expensive and it's difficult and it's time consuming. But right now with our solution, actually you can do like live musicals anytime, just like this. Yep. So this is what we're going to happen, and so we have different kind of talents doing this virtual idol stuff, and also in our metaverse, we had not just for those talents you can perform in a virtual form in the metaverse. At the same time, we will be releasing like NFTs for end users or fans, where you can actually invest into each single virtual idol. So let's say you love this virtual idol, now we'll be releasing like NFTs so you can buy it, and actually you're investing in the virtual idol. So as long as in the future you may have like premiere tickets to the concerts, and you may have even returns from the virtual idol. So this is what we're trying to do, not to just have a platform for these talents to have virtual performances. Also at the same time for end users or even fans, they can actually participate in the whole, like it's like a manager. Yeah, you can participate, and actually there will be like votings for this actions or different jobs for these virtual idols. So you can actually make decisions for your idol. So this is what's going to happen in our metaverse.
Got it. Thank you, Kevin. So this is actually a new asset class that you actually can participate in, and that is actually fun. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Kevin. All right. Last but not least, we have Steve Ip.
Hey, what's up, all?
Hey, so we are towards, we're going to start on a pretty interesting spin on this. So, Steve, I know very little about the very elusive space that you're in. And we talked a bit at lunch. I think I get maybe 20% of what Steve have shared. Steve have a lot of strength, and his background just spanned a lot of different spaces. So yeah, Steve, please tell us more about maybe yourself, and then what you can share with us on NFT today.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Steve Ip, CEO of Conductive. I also serve as a venture partner for Animoca Brands, or Animoca Ventures. And yeah, I've been a marketer for about 15 years, especially focused on kind of doing gaming and immersive VR, AR, and just everything like that. So I've been in this space for quite a while, focused on blockchain marketing since 2017 as well. So yeah, I guess just to pull the audience really fast, I'm going to play this card. Does anybody actually know what an NFT is? I know you know what it might mean, but does anybody actually know what it is? Okay.
After the lunch session with you.
Sure. So I'll just explain really quickly what an actual NFT is, just to kind of primer the audience a little bit. An NFT is not a picture. An NFT is not a video. What it is it's technically something called a non-fungible token, but it's a transaction record that ends up being something that only has one of one. And basically what this says is that you own the right of whatever it happens to be, that we all agree that this is yours. And what that ends up leading to is that you definitively have something unique that you own, and you can transfer that to somebody else if you like. And there's just a lot of different interesting things that you can do with it. So I guess, do you want me just to keep going, or?
Yeah, or maybe tell us more about what this JP Morgan thing is.
Yeah, so this came out not that long ago. My friend Christine Moy, who leads JP Morgan's blockchain stuff over there, she's like from JP Morgan, right? Like, it's pretty rigid, and they're like dropping NFTs. And the question is, for us marketers, what does this mean? What is like, why is all these brands starting to get into NFTs? How come suddenly there's this massive movement? And I think it's a confluence of many different things at the same time. I think definitely the pandemic has led to a lot of this. But you have to imagine right now, how do you motivate people to do anything? And typically it's from incentives. Now, in the crypto space, oftentimes the incentives happen to be, well, let's just call it financial incentives to basically get people to learn through the technology and understand what they're doing and figure out how to sign up for Coinbase or wherever jurisdiction you're at. And it's a process. I mean, you were telling me at lunch that you were trying to figure it out, and you were just doing it just because you thought you had to know as an innovator, right? But JP Morgan is giving away these NFTs at their event, and now the NFTs that they gave away for free is worth, was being listed at 420 Ethereums, which is close to around what, $2 million for a single NFT that they gave away for free. And it landed them this massive article on CoinDesk, which then gets resyndicated to many other publications, including Bloomberg and et cetera. It's earned media. And back when I was doing VR, we used to have a term in 2015, VR for PR. You would make a VR experience, 1,000 people will go through it, but then you would get massive PR over it. Like, oh, this brand is now doing it. But in this case, they didn't spend $1 million building a virtual reality experience that 10 people get to use. Instead, they gave away a bunch of NFTs to people who may have it. They earned this article for that. And also, if in kind of the NFT world, there's things called smart contracts, which are kind of like, you can consider them automated services, automated financial services. And in some cases, you can actually put on royalties. Every single time someone makes a transfer, you can receive a percentage of that transfer, whatever the amount is. So let's assume that, I don't know if this is it, I haven't looked at the smart contract, but let's assume that JP Morgan had one of these royalty contracts. Not only is this campaign gonna go out there and get them the PR, bring in a bunch of people like signing up and like being engaged in the JP Morgan brand for once, but also they actually might make money. And not a small amount. Like they might actually make a serious amount of money if this thing gets real transaction volume. If we look at something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club or other things like that, it has done like $1 billion of transaction volume. And I think in their contract, they're getting like 1 or 2% of that, right? And it's like a collection of pictures that they put out once. And you have to think about it from a marketer standpoint, especially nowadays, everybody's kind of fighting for attention. So if you have these NFTs and you give it to your most engaged community members, what you're doing is you're kind of giving them a star in the classroom, like you're special. You can have this. This means that you're part of the club that is the most engaged user with us. It does a couple of things, right? Number one, the NFT goes into their wallet. And that means that now, and I don't know how much I should actually share about this because I don't think, but this is totally open and transparent. It's public information, really. Because the NFT is in their wallet, you know that this user, however they signed up for the NFT, perhaps they gave you an email or anything, you actually know what's inside their wallet, right? And that means that you know what they've interacted with. Do they play games? Are they an Axie Infinity player? Do they do DeFi? You actually have this information involved. The second thing too is that if the NFT is valuable and they transfer it to a wallet, then you transfer with them. It's something that carries with them, because it's a valuable asset. And then finally, you can build things around these NFTs. And actually, this is going to be one of the biggest trends next year, which are called DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. And these DAOs can use these NFTs as memberships to kind of join into this club where then technology can be built to identify who are the people. And then you get into these like special chat rooms or special events or things like that. And your NFT becomes your membership card. So it's very similar to having something like Soho House or something like that, where you can become special and you can be very, very engaged with this brand. And, we see people adopting these things. It's not just an asset. It's actually an identity. It's an identity that belongs to a corporation, and all they're doing is being incentivized to further help push that identity beyond where it originated. And then you allow the community to kind of build on top of it. So it's almost like open sourcing a brand because they own the NFT. So they can kind of do whatever they want with it. It's a whole new world of engagement, and we're just basically scratching the surface of it. A16Z just invested into a Discord channel called Friends with Benefits, which is one of the biggest NFT channels out there. And go ahead and Google it. But yeah, these social DAOs and things like that are extremely powerful because you gather a bunch of people together who are now incentivized as a community to further expand this brand and build value into this organization together. So it's kind of crazy when you can get that kind of engagement from people who you gave away a free NFT to as a promotional. You build somewhat of a highly engaged client base, I guess. Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. So how many of us are still following? All right. Okay. So okay, this may be a question I'm just thinking myself. When I go to look at some of the NFTs that I could potentially invest in or buy, maybe I go to like OpenSea or any kind of these kind of marketplaces, I see a bunch of like ape-looking ones, some skull-looking ones, some sneakers, some this and that. Is there any reason why it kind of like comes out that way? It seems like they all comes in different variations of the same thing fundamentally. Why is that in that way?
It's because of a movement that was started through something called CryptoPunks. But essentially, what they did was they basically took kind of a gaming algorithm, and they created a lot of different traits and pictures that like you could have a hat, or you could have a mustache, or you can have all kinds of different accessories, and they just generated 10,000 probabilities. Some of these traits are extremely rare, while other ones were more common, which created kind of this non-equal, like not every NFT was the same. In fact, they were all individually different. But in fact, if you had things with rare traits, they were absolutely one of a kind. And the other 9,999 people would be envious of you, creating kind of this like class disparity amongst the NFT holders. And what ended up happening is that even with that, right, people started adopting them as their profiles. And then it just kind of blew up from there. So because of that original trend, especially how a CryptoPunk now sells for like, I think a couple $1 million, like people are just like, okay, well, how do I make something like this? So people are just creating these computer generated artworks that have different traits, and they can just spin it out very quickly instead of drawing 10,000 individual pieces of art.
Got it. And so how can brands sort of leverage these type of sort of gaming derived, rarity derived sort of concept?
I think for brands, and I think we're going to start seeing this in the future, is that you might have a chief gaming officer, a chief gamification officer. I don't think that this idea is new anymore. I think understanding positive feedback loops, understanding the pillars of play, and understanding how powerful play is with engagement when it comes to your brand is something that is required. I don't think it's a choice anymore. Nobody wants to watch your boring 30-second, stock photo video anymore. They want to be engaged with things. They want interactivity, like kind of what you guys were all saying earlier. And we're just gonna have to try harder, guys and ladies. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm sure a lot of brands here or marketers here would like to try NFT for their own brands, but I'm not too sure exactly where to start. So I'm sure all brands have their logos, have some kind of artwork, some kind of creatives, maybe for previous campaigns, or even their own products can be made into creatives. Are these things of any value in the NFT world?
Yes. In fact, you can just put out your logo and call it the Christmas edition, and you can put it out. And the point of it isn't really to generate income. The point of it isn't so that the users can generate income. This is not financial advice, by the way. It's really about being able to give something tangible as a digital asset, a tangible digital asset, strangely enough, that people can possess, own, hold. It's theirs. They can give it away to somebody, or they can adopt it as their identity, or they can put it into their collection. They can say, I was here. There's an idea that's called proof of attendance that's getting a lot of popularity. The fact that I'm here now and I'm here at Cyberport, I think I can get an NFT, right? And that NFT proves that I was here. Now, let's say that for some reason, some event happened, maybe there's like 5 in a row, and then suddenly there's like some kind of reward involved. Well, then I have 5 in a row. But if I don't have 5 in a row, maybe I can go and find someone that had year 4, and I can trade them for it, right? For something, or things like that. And remember, we just made this out of nothing. It's just the fact that there's like this gamification element that really like drives a person to go in and figure out that there's value here because it's meaningful to them. And you can't ask for anything more as a brand. Someone that wants to participate, that is not being incentivized through monetary or financial incentives, but because they actually really like your brand, and that's why they want to be part of it.
Thank you, Steve. So I think everyone now has a pretty good understanding of how NFT work potentially for your brands. Maybe, we can go back and start trying. So we have about 9 minutes left. I think it's a good time to start taking some questions. Do we have some questions? Thank you.
And at the moment on the screen, we have shown a QR code in there. And if you have any questions to our guests, please scan the QR code and type in your questions, and our guests will receive it through iPad and answer your questions one by one.
Okay, so we got 3 questions here so far. Let me just read them out. First question is, I just checked on OS and JP Morgan NFT volume trade is just 0.1 ETH. I think it is a good marketing skill and collectible item, but may not be good in investment. What do you think?
This is not financial advice. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so second one. Okay, what do you think about? Okay, let me just read these out first. It didn't say who to address to. What do you think about SocialFi? A few SocialFi platforms just launched, such as Monaco. And what do you think about them, about their business model? Anyone like to take this one? Please.
I know Monaco. So, I think SocialFi as a platform is something that is going to be looked at very carefully, as what it does is it integrates kind of the things I talked about as something native inside platforms. And I can see in the future, barring any kind of regulatory risk, that Twitter integrating an NFT library, or something like Monaco, having kind of native features that show leaderboards of who collects what NFTs and things like that. What ends up happening is there's a couple of things, like number one, the identity of the person can be confirmed because you can actually see assets that they hold, meaning that person cannot be a bot or something like that necessarily, because you can track the transaction history of where these things came from. So if this person really did buy something from a long time ago and they are interacting, you can kind of tell who they are, and they can say who they are. They could be that identity on the internet, and when they give an opinion about something, then it's almost like a better version of Quora. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm sure that would make more sense then. Okay, so the last question. Oh, actually, we just got another one. Okay, second and last question is marketing branded NFT in USD 10 mil a good marketing strategy? It's marketing a branded NFT in a lot of money, in 10 mil US.
You mean like just put an NFT out and try to sell it for $10 million?
Exactly, yeah.
This is not financial advice, yeah. I don't know.
A good strategy from, let's say, a branding perspective. Would it make a lot of noise, per se?
Okay, well, there's an example of this that has nothing to do with NFTs. It's called the Wu-Tang Clan. They sold their album to Martin, whatever his name is, Shrekio, like the guy who went to prison for like manipulating drug prices. That wasn't an NFT, that was a record. But you know what's really funny is that they actually took that record and they turned it into an NFT. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, if you're trying to do publicity stunts and things like that, I mean, I don't know what'll work. Like, anything could work. Who knows, right?
I would say the answer is yes, especially if there's someone that's
but I mean, it could also do nothing. It could also be labeling you guys. You can get negative backlash. I have no idea. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I don't know if I should ask this one. Okay, maybe we'll save this one till last. Okay. Okay, I can definitely ask this one. So if you're a brand and your NFT part, you NFT part of your brand, does the owner now own part of your brand?
It really depends on the smart contract stated in the NFT. Yeah, so NFT is not just it's not a simple thing actually. There can be a lot of smart contract terms on each individual NFT. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
So that's usually the
so
case.
not necessary. It could be, but I don't think any big brands are going to sell their like brands in NFTs. I don't know. Maybe in proportions.
I don't think brands have smart contract engineers yet. Yeah. I wouldn't bet on it.
Okay, any comments on regulations on and off metaverses?
Okay, I don't want this. Okay, I think the issue with asking a question like that is that I don't think the word metaverse is well defined yet. Some people look at a metaverse and they just automatically assume virtual reality or possibly augmented reality because of kind of what Meta has announced and really pushed out as the metaverse. In my opinion, a metaverse can be many things. I think the most important definition of a metaverse is the sense that there is kind of a community, the ability to own assets and be able to transfer them. And really it's about kind of the interoperability of communities and people. And I think one of the most important things is identity. You were born the way that you are, but that doesn't mean that you have to be that in the metaverse. And it's really a part of kind of the escapism that, that I think a lot of people crave. And this is why video games have become such a huge business. And Metaverse has just kind of opened that up even further into something that is more than just gaming. It's something that could actually become an economy, its own economy. It can become your identity, and yeah, you could pretty much live in a metaverse. And if you don't know what I mean, you can Google South Park World of Warcraft, and you can kind of see how addicting people can get. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Seems like this is the last one. So as there are many coins, entities developing rapidly and foresee there will be even more coming, how brands can differentiate itself?
Personally, I don't think NFT is something for you to differentiate your own brand. Actually, branding is one thing. Branding is branding. But you can. It really depends on how you utilize this NFT thing. Let's say in Metaverse to create your own new identity. Say in a new like kind of a social platform like Metaverse. And I think first mover is very important. So right now is a good timing. It's a perfect timing to be the first mover, to go into like the metaverse, to promote your own brands. Yeah, a lot of big brands are actually like Gucci. They're working with Speedo and like Decentraland. There are a lot of big brands building their own shops. So there are a lot of first movers now. So I guess it's the time to, if you are talking about your own brand, it's the perfect timing to go inside. Yeah.
There's no further questions, but there's one question, maybe I can rephrase it a little bit. So seems like the last 6 months has been rather volatile in the crypto space. Maybe any comment on what's driving the price?
Not financial advice.
Yeah, I don't think this is the appropriate. I don't think that. What does that got to do with marketing? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So seems like that is it. Anybody else? Okay, we got 1 minute left. Yes, Brian.
I'm really interested in Metaverse of the Web 3.0. Basically, I want to ask, and how will you envision the data infrastructure will look like? Because a lot of advertising is based on cookies nowadays and TTD doing unified ID. However, now, since all the data is actually owned by individual digital asset owners, how would that data monetization infrastructure work? And how would that impact the publishers? Thank you.
That's actually what my company does. We're going to build that infrastructure. So I think one of the really interesting things about this transparent world is how untransparent it is. You actually have no idea who owns these wallets. When you go through marketing channels, you don't have that end of funnel attribution. So these kind of things need to be figured out on how to link it, and that's a thing that Conductive is solving. So I finally got to do my plug. Thank you.
All right, time's up. So thank you guys. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Kevin, Steve. Thank you very much, everyone.